Dude, right now you're looking at your bank account, and there sits $10,000, maybe $50,000. Clean, safe, not moving. Inside, you're thinking, I did the right thing. You followed what your family told you, what the system taught you. You saved your money. You even feel a little proud. But there's an uncomfortable truth no one tells you openly. You are inside a mathematical game, and you are on the losing side. Because that money isn't protecting you, my friend. It's shrinking every day. Right in front of your eyes, silently. A hidden tax is slowly taking a bit from every dollar you have each day. You think you've built a safe cushion for your future, but in reality, you're setting a trap for yourself. And the longer you keep the money there, the poorer you become every single day. By the end of this, I'm going to show you this clearly. What you call your emergency fund might actually be your biggest financial burden, and we'll also break down how banks make money off your fear. Because if you don't understand this system, you'll keep losing purchasing power. Now, let's look at the math. The math banks don't want you to figure out, because their entire business model depends on you not understanding it. A typical savings account gives you a laughable interest rate, often less than 1%. But inflation keeps working nonstop, making life more expensive every year. Put the numbers in front of you. If the bank gives you 0.5% while inflation is 3%, you're not saving money. You're losing about 2.5% every year. That means you're paying a price just to leave your money in the bank. If you have $50,000, in 10 years, its purchasing power drops to $37,000. You lost $13,000 without spending a single dollar. I call this the silent theft, my friend, because the bank takes your money, lends it out at 7 to 10%, charges 20% on credit cards, and gives you crumbs in return. On top of that, inflation eats away what's left. So why do smart people fall into this? Because it's not just math. It's the brain. The human brain is wired for survival. It fears losing money. If you've experienced scarcity in the past, seeing money in your bank account feels like safety. Your brain says, I'm okay. But this is a false sense of security. In behavioral finance, this is called loss aversion. People feel the pain of losing much more strongly than the pleasure of gaining. That's why people fear seeing red on a screen, but accept losing money every day through inflation. Because that loss is invisible. The only way to see it is to step outside the system. Now let me explain the real system. Banks don't keep your money sitting in a vault. They keep a small portion and lend the rest out. This is called the fractional reserve system. Your money becomes someone else's loan. The bank profits, and you just watch. While you sit with low interest, they make money using your funds. In other words, you're essentially working for the bank for free. No salary, just a feeling of security. I learned this game in real estate, my friend. When I bought my first apartment, I realized something. Money shrinks when it sits still, but grows when it moves. Rich people don't let money sit idle. They circulate it because they know idle money is dead money. Now let me show you the opportunity cost. Suppose you have $50,000. You really need $10,000. Fine. But you keep $40,000 in the bank. Why? For comfort. If you had taken that $40,000 and invested it in a simple index fund earning around 10% annually, in 30 years it would grow to roughly $700,000. That means your comfort cost you about $650,000. Expensive peace of mind, my friend. People also misunderstand emergencies. They think a vacation is an emergency, or buying furniture is an emergency. No, an emergency is when your income stops and you need to survive. Nothing else. That's why I use a liquidity ladder. First step, 1 month of expenses in a daily account. Second step, 3 to 6 months of real emergency funds in a high-yield account. That's it. Anything beyond that is lazy money. Third step, the wealth engine, investments, stocks, real estate, funds, where money works. If you're afraid to invest all at once, split it. Divide it into 6 parts and invest monthly. This is called dollar cost averaging. When the market drops, you don't panic. You're happy because you're buying cheaper. If you're young, your biggest risk isn't the market, my friend. It's growing old without money. The market returns about 10% over the long term, while inflation is around 3%. The difference is what grows you. Cash, on the other hand, pulls you backward. So ask yourself, is your money working or is it sitting? I treat every dollar like an employee. If it's not working, I fire it. Calculate your monthly expenses. Multiply by 6. That's your cash limit. Anything above that goes to investments. Automate it. Because comfort is expensive. Keeping money in the bank is the price you pay for your fear. Rich people don't hold. They convert it into assets immediately. Because they know cash loses value. The system tells you to save because it needs your deposits. It gives you small rewards, but builds wealth using your money. Smart people don't stay customers. They become owners. When you invest in stocks, you become part of the economy. You stop being just a consumer. That's the difference. Most people keep money just in case. But the reality is, most financial emergencies can be handled within 3 to 6 months. Keeping $100,000 for a potential $5,000 problem is like walking around in full armor every day. It's unnecessary. You feel safe because your bank balance doesn't change, but its value is constantly dropping. In investments, the number fluctuates, but the value grows over time. That's how it has always worked. Don't forget taxes either. Interest income is taxed at higher rates, while investment gains are taxed more efficiently. So in the bank, you earn less and pay more tax. If you're saving for something specific, like buying a house in 2 years, then yes, keep that money in cash. But money with no purpose is just fear. Every dollar should have a job. Need it within a year? Keep it in cash. Not touching it for 10 years. Invest it. It's that simple. Inflation isn't just about rising prices, my friend. It's the cost of your future freedom. Money that seems like a lot today will be worth much less in the future. Holding cash guarantees you lose the race. Investing is how you win. People around you might say, the stock market is gambling. Look at their results. If you want the same outcome, follow their advice. If not, do something different. This is a process. First, build safety. Then, build wealth. If you stay disciplined, you will win. You don't need to be a genius. You just need patience. Now be honest with yourself. Are you really saving, or are you slowly losing money? Run the numbers. Set your limits. Put that idle money to work. You will feel fear. That's normal. But that fear comes from an old version of the world. Today, the game is different. Trust the math. Trust the history. Trust yourself. Because every day you wait is another day you lose. The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is today. Take action, my friend. Make your money work. Otherwise, someone else will.